Good day everyone. So for today, we will be talking about the chapter 19 of our module or the DNA analysis. So for this lesson, it is expected na after around 30 minutes of our recording and after following the activity, you are expected to explain the importance of the DNA analysis in dispute and crime resolutions, and why is it important, or you will highlight the process of DNA examination. So supposedly you are expected to answer this, so you will be giving the importance of the DNA analysis in crime investigation, and you will justify your answer by giving relevant samples. However, since hindi agad ulit tayo naka-online class, then definitely you're expected to go through with our, hindi tayo naka-actual online classes. You need to follow up with the activities that will be given to you via chat. Okay, so again, before sana tayo mag-start, you need to think, why is it conducting DNA analysis is important in crime investigation, and you need to justify your answer. Why is it that particular answer is important? Okay, so when we say DNA, DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. So when we say DNA, ito po ay chemical substances found in all cells. Meaning to say, lahat ng living organisms contain DNA. So here, yung composition niya is being passed from parent to their children or offspring. Meaning to say, kung ako yung organism na to, it is expected na yung organism or offspring or yung anak na mapoproduce ko will contain a portion or a little similar or semblance with my DNA. So, ibig sabihin, napapasa natin yung DNA from the parent to our offspring or anak natin, and lahat ng cells in our body have the same DNA composition. So, halos parehas po yung DNA composition whichever part of our body except sa egg cells and sperm cells kung saan nandito na po yung haploid ng cells natin. So, to continue, bakit kailangan natin ng DNA as evidence in crime and dispute resolution? The first one, pwede natin makuha yung DNA sa blood and blood stains. Okay, so kukuha tayo ng blood sample or blood stain sample. Pag kaya pang ma-retrieve or makuha yung DNA sample from that, kasi fresh pa yung blood, or pwede pang magamit yung blood as an evidence, then if you will have a sample to compare with, then definitely it can be used as our biological evidence. Then we can also have the semen and seminal stains. So, halimbawa, may rape cases and you found a semen or seminal stains na available in the body or outside of the body of the victim, then definitely it can be used as evidence. Then, of course, yung hair natin with follicle or root. Meaning to say, intact pa yung root ng hair. Then, saliva or buccal swab. When we say saliva, laway. And then, buccal swab is yung swab natin dito, sa cheek. And then, we have also bones and organs and tissues and cells. Remember, these parts of our body contains DNA. Hence, kapag ito yung present natin na evidence and we have DNA analysis to prove our claim, and then nag-match siya with the suspect, then it is considered admissible in our court. So, saan pwedeng gamitin ang DNA? So, first and foremost, pwede natin gamitin ang DNA kapag may sexual assault or rape cases, especially if natapos yung activity, may na-release yung person. How if, sir, wala siyang ni-release kasi may ginamit siyang protective something in the genitalia of the man or the phala? the phallus of the man, then definitely, pwede mong kunin yung release niya from that material, o in that material. Then, pwede din sa murder, homicide, robbery, sa hit and run, extortion, okay? And then, paternity cases or naghahabol yung anak dun sa tatay. And then, identification of remain from mass grave. For the cases of missing persons, halimbawa niyan is yung mga article natin na may nakitang skeleton, di ba? And then, 3,500 years ago pala yun namatay. So, hinanap nila yung pinaka-relative na ancestor kasi that's the ancestor of that municipality. Hence, hinanap nila yung pinaka-relative. Pwede yung mangyari. Basta may kukumparahan tayo ng sample. Then, paano po siya ginagamit ang accuracy nito? Kung sino ang nag-perpetuate ng crime. So, first and foremost, dito tayo sa human tissues. When we say human tissues, yung nabanggit ko kanina, sa hair strands, sa blood stains, sa saliva, and other body tissues na nakita natin sa crime scene. Ngayon, kapag na-collect natin siya, na-preserve at na-examine natin using DNA analysis, then definitely, pwede nating malaman kung saan or kung sino yung pinanggalingan ng samples na yon. And remember, in our Supreme Court, this is the highest court in our country, pwede na pong gamitin ng DNA test result in those particular cases. And then, usually, pag yung hair strands left by the kidnapper, in cases of kidnapping, pwede din na blood stain in clothing associated with a certain incidences. Tapos, stains in cigarette butts, yung sa sigarilyo, di ba? So, may laway yon. Then, stamps, di ba, pag nag-open tayo ng envelope, minsan tiglalawayan natin siya. Extortion as well can be used to identify the particular perpetrators or kung sino man yung suspect. Okay? So, paano po ito ginagawa? Usually, ang pinakauna natin ginagawa is hahanap muna tayo ng evidence. After makuha natin yung evidence, kukuha tayo ng sample wherein we can compare. So, example, siya yung nirereklamo, so definitely kukuha ka ng sample sa kanya. Tapos, may nakita kang sample ng evidence dun sa crime scene or sa person, then, kukunin mo yon. And then, i-compare mo yun ngayon. Kapag nag-match, then definitely, you will report that matching to whatever. Kasi kung nasa korte na siya, then pwede mo siyang ilagay as evidence doon sa court. If ang patterns are different po, pag magkaiba po yung result ng DNA analysis, ang mangyayari po dito is, definitely, the suspect is not the one who perpetrated the crime. Hence, you need to look for other suspects as well. So, kung similar, then definitely, siya yung nag-perpetrate. Pero pag different, so balikan mo yung result. Balikan mo yung possible suspects. Okay? Ang problema natin ngayon kasi wala pa tayong population genetics na tinatawag. Meaning to say, naka-stored na lahat ng DNA samples natin or ng DNA pattern ng lahat ng tao. So, ang you as a policeman, so hanapin mo talaga kung sino yung pinaka-perpetrator. So, this is the reason why medyo matagal din gamitin ang DNA analysis, especially sa paternity. Ito yung makikita natin sa Jessica Soho na ilang taon nang hinahanap yung parent. Tapos, hindi nila nakikita yung parent. Nakailang series na nang umaamin hanggang to the point na nakatulog na yung story. Kasi nga, you need to go for the entire population just to get the particular exact sample or exact perpetrator or kung sino man yung tao na yun. If that is in paternity test, di yung parent niya. Kung wala na yung parent, sabi ko kanina, offspring, pinapasa natin yung DNA mula sa parent, papunta sa mga anak. So definitely, yung mga kapatid niya, yung mga probable na kapatid, may similarity din kahit paano yung kanilang DNA. Okay, so pwede yun ang pagkumparahan ngayon. Ngayon, ano yung science nito? So, remember, DNA is the blueprint of life. Meaning to say, lahat ng living organism may kanya-kanyang DNA pattern yan. Walang dalawang tao na magkapareho exactly ng DNA, pero at certain portions nila, merong kapareho. So, that is why, ang isang DNA po is composed siya ng 3.3 billion base. Meaning to say, ito yung pwedeng pagsamahan ng adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. This is now, ito yung mga DNA bases natin or nitrogenous bases natin sa DNA kung saan kung parehas sila ng pattern, halimbawa ACGT, CCG, ganon-ganon. So definitely, pag nagkapareha sila ng pattern at certain portion, pwede natin sabihin na may similarity yung dalawang samples. Hence, kung paternity ang pinaghahaluan ang hinahabol niya nung tao na yon, then definitely may paternity or may habol yung naghahabol. Kung naman ang suspect kunyari ay sa rape case, then definitely the perpetrator is the rapist. Kung may similarity yung nakuha mong sample at yung sample mula doon sa suspect. Okay, and remember, approximately 99.9% of the sequences is identical for humans. Meaning to say, may pagkakahawig kahit paano yung mga biologically related na individuals. Although hindi tayo, may 1% tayo na chances na magkakaiba. Meaning to say, ikaw lang yung may blueprint na ganon. Okay? And however po, out of 1 per 1,000 of the sequences of this DNA is not the same. That is why kailangan nating malaman kung sino yung sample ng tao na yon, kung may similarity yung portion ng mga samples. And remember, cells that have nuclei and therefore DNA are found throughout the human body. Kahit aling parte ng katawan natin, pwedeng pagkunan ng DNA samples. And then the science of DNA sampling, so pwede kang kumuha ng sample sa blood, sa sperm, sa hair root, sa bones, sa teeth, organs, muscle, and other tissues that contains DNA. However, yung body fluid natin na nag-dry, minsan nawawala na yung kanyang component kasi nga nag-evaporate, minsan nakain na siya ng mga insects or whatsoever. So, may possibility na matatarnish na yung evidence. Kaya kailangan mo makuha agad yung evidence sa crime scene. Kaya baga pag nag-report sa atin, sa inyo, sa mga women's desk, automatic siyang pinapa-medical legal. Tapos si medical legal officer ngayon ang nagsiswab of the portion of the woman or the men kasi may rape cases din ng lalaki. And then pag nakakuha sila ng sample, outright, ipapreserve na yun dapat. Okay? Kasi po, these epithelial cells are somewhat, those nasa labas na nag-dry can be tarnished eventually. Pwede din naman tayo makakuha ng evidence dun sa lining of the mouth and then sa vagina. So, ibig sabihin dito sa parte na to, itong Xix cells natin, this is usually pwedeng pagkunan pag evidence of paternity. Ito na sa gilid nitong natin. Ito. So, manipis siya na cells na pwede natin ma-extract agad or sa vagina. Okay? So, ang physiological evidences na pwede natin gamitin for crimes resolutions are blood and semen stains on clothing, weapon, and other surfaces. Okay, may nakita kang blood stain. So, may tulo ng dugo dun sa damit ng suspect. So, nambaril siya. Natalsikan siya ng dugo ng tao na yon nung binaril niya. Or sinaksak niya yung tao na yon or niyakap niya while doing something wrong. And then meron siyang stains dito sa damit niya. Then definitely that is the evidence. And then pag nag-match yung evidence na yon with someone na victim, then definitely that is something na pwede nating i-admit sa court. And then seminal stains. Okay? Ganon. Kagaya baga doon kay Jennifer Lauda case, wala siya sa katawan ng babae, nung namatay na trans, wala siya totally ng semen, pero nakakuha sila ng semen doon sa condom na tinapon doon sa trash can. And nung nakuha yung semen, na found out nila that the seminal fluid matches to the corporal. So, nagamit siya as evidence na may nangyaring activity and it happened na it was assaulted pala si victim when the male found out, when the other partner found out na lalaki pala yung naging kasex niya. Okay? And then swab taken from the victims in sexual assault cases. Nabanggit ko to kanina. Sinaswab agad siya ng medical legal. Pag sinabi nating swab, kapara siya na ginagamit na pang swab dito sa nasal natin, di ba? Sa oral swabbing natin kung saan naghahanap tayo ng coronavirus specimen. Or pwede din naman yung ating mismo cotton pads. And then other less common sources of DNA includes partially decomposed tissue and bone. So, pwede siya postage stamps na nilawayan natin. So, yon. And most widely used DNA tests employed in criminal cases are yung tinatawag nating RLFP or fragment length polymorphism testing. Meaning to say, mga fragment lang yung kinukuha natin. Ano? So, dito po, sa science of DNA sampling, ang RLFP technique necessitates dividing DNA into fragment. Bakit? Kasi po, may certainty, hindi ka na certain with your evidence kasi masyado na siyang matagal. So, ipa-fragment na natin. And at certain portion nun, in a high molecular weight, pwede mo pang mapa-scatter yung kanyang fragment. So, hahaba pa siya ngayon. So, RFLP yung ginagamit natin kapag medyo mahina na yung kapit ng DNA samples. Alam mo nang malapit nang mawala yung mga DNA sample. So, may nakita kang portion na pwede pang pagkunan. And then, anong gagawin? Yun yung ngayon ang i-extract mo. Pag RFLP, i-modify mo pa siya into a high molecular weight. So, meaning to say, yung napakalit na nakita mong portion na may DNA, papa-expound mo pa siya dito sa technique na to. Okay, and remember, kahit napakaliit lang na sample ng blood stain, ng low sperm count, kasi may mga lalaki na low ang sperm count, or small number of hair roots, nakakuha ka ng pubic hair doon sa victim, or a sample too degraded, pwede siyang gamitin sa RFLP. Meaning to say, pwede pa siyang pagkunan ng DNA. Okay? So, this is very useful, especially kapag wala na. Pwede pa rin gamitin natin ng polymerase chain reaction kung saan yung napaka-konti na lang na sample na yun ay PCR chain natin. So, i-identify natin yung kanyang mga DNA sequences and if-further validate natin. And eventually, yung DNA sequences na yun, pag nag-match doon sa DNA sequence ng suspect, ng sample ng suspect, so automatic yun. Okay? And then in here, paano po siya tinatanggap sa korte? Tandaan natin, ano? So, tinatanggap siya sa korte kapag majority is admissible. Meaning to say, yung test na yon ay tanggap na talaga. Na, ganito talaga yung ginagawa pag paternity tests. So, kailangan mo ng ibang cases dito ginawa. Then, ang requirement of acceptance nito is yung scientific evidence natin ay mabigat. Meaning to say, kahit kabarabaliktadin ka pa, yung laway ay may DNA. Yung dugo ay may DNA. Diba? So, that's the scientific process that we have to observe. And kung bago yung technique na ginamit in DNA sampling, then definitely, dapat accepted siya ng norms, ng scientific procedures natin. Yung processes ay tama, and then yung nakuhang DNA, kahit gamitin mo pa yung ibang forms ng scientific evidence sampling natin sa DNA rather, ay parehas ng result. Okay? And remember, napakarami pong humahabol ng reliability ng result. And dapat admissible po siya by individual. Ibig sabihin, yung evidence niya mula sa laway, yung nakita mong evidence ay merong DNA, tapos kahit kunin mo pa yung parte ng laway, ng dugo, ng hair strand, ng seminal fluid ng tao na yun, same ang findings. Okay? And then remember, minsan may mga bagong techniques na minsan hindi pa yan tinatanggap sa korte kasi hindi pa nila yung napag-aaralan masyado. And then community of scientists, kailangan mo tanungin sa court kasi malay natin iba yung ginawa mong technique, hindi pa siya acceptable in scientific community. And then rate of error, mataas pala yung rate of error. Mas marami yung mali kasi sa tama. Okay, kagaya ng laway, hindi masyadong ginagamit ang laway sa paternity testing. Instead, ang ginagamit, blood. Kasi napaka-konti ng DNA sa laway natin, especially kung may kinain kang ganon. Pero pwede kung yung tao na yun ay nagdudugo ang gums. May makukuha siya na blood stain. And in the existing and application of governing governments on the use of the analysis method and reliability of the test itself. Yon. So, ito ang example ng ginagamit na equipment sa DNA sampling or analysis. So, kukuha ka ng sample, ilalagay mo lang siya dyan, itadilute mo yung sample, tapos separate mo into different components. Then, ayan siya, yung PCR chain na tinatawag ko kung saan, kahit napakaliit na ng DNA sample, pwede niyang mapahaba pa yung kanyang analysis. And this is an example of paternity test. Meaning to say, makikitaan mo sila ng, sabi ko, ito yung alleged father. Ito yung paternity test. Naghahabol yung nanay kasi naanakan daw siya ni ganito. Titingnan niyo yung kanyang pattern ng kanyang DNA sequence. Makikita niyo may similarity sila sa 16. May similarity sila sa 19. 11. Lumabas din dun sa tatay yung 11. Sa anak 11. Yung sequence niya, then 12. Meron din siyang 12, 11, 14, and so on and so on. Pwedeng 99.9% na parehas sila. Remember, 0.1% lang ang hindi kasi nga, nung nag-combine yung genes ng nanay at tatay, nakabuo ng bagong characteristic or sequence ng DNA doon sa anak. So, hindi siya 100% parehas ng sequence. Pero makikita nyo dito, lahat ng sequence ng tatay ay same with the sequence of the anak. So, kailan ito ginagawa ang paternity test? Kapag naghahabol ang nanay, especially kapag ang anak pala, kapag mayaman yung tatay. Or, pwede namang naghahanap mismo yung anak ng kanyang identity. Kasi naampon yung bata or yon. Or, nawala yung bata, kinidnap and then ganon. Napakawalan, pero hindi niya na mahanap yung original parent niya kasi bata pa siya, no? So, ganon. So, again, mag-ready tayo sa quiz kasi kasali ito sa quiz natin. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig.